Both my 22-year-old best friend and I just returned from a 3-month European backpacking trip. Among the many bizarre meetings we experienced, this one stands out. Before catching our night train, we checked out of the accommodation and headed to the International Rail Station. Our previous lodging was in a somewhat remote location, adjacent only to highways and a petrol station. To reach the main train station, we had to transfer to 1 or 2 trains. In order to get our tickets and guarantee that we do not miss the train, we usually arrive at the station or airport early. Not to mention that we despise lugging about heavy baggage for long periods of time. We sat on a bench and fiddled with our phones to kill the 5 hours that passed while waiting for the train. A police officer approached us and inquired about our activities approximately 1 hour after we reached the train station. I gently clarified that we were awaiting the night train's departure. I informed him that we only have our rail passes at the moment, and that we do not yet have tickets when he requested to view them. We still need to purchase tickets, he informed us after reviewing our passes. Even though I had checked that the train we were taking did not necessitate a reservation, I still assumed he meant reservations because some trains do charge pass holders for them. After gathering our belongings, we accompanied him to the ticket office as he had instructed. 2 tickets to Bucharest were to be purchased, he informed the clerk. I clarified that tickets were unnecessary and that our endpoint was Budapest. He persisted in buying tickets regardless of our objections. Afterwards, the clerk at the ticket booth reviewed our tickets and printed out what appeared to be a seat assignment. Evidently, this was enough for him. We were informed by the officer that we were to wait in a separate place because we were boarding the night train. He then led us to a room with several chairs and instructed us to remain there. We both let out a sigh of relief when he departed, believing that our interaction had come to an end. It's terrifying to be confronted by an angry police officer in a strange land. It was feared that we would become stranded in Turkey. As a means of passing the time, we began viewing a film on my laptop. We had already relocated to the new waiting room when the same officer returned an hour later to inform us that we were once again had to relocate. We followed his instructions. Such border control queries as, "What are you doing in Turkey?" and "How do you know each other?" were asked by him. Returning to the outdoor bench where we had sat before, he led us there. Our passports and tickets were once again requested by him, and we dutifully presented them to him. He indicated the station from which our train would depart. He lingered for a while, interrogating, before he departed. On 2 or 3 occasions, this occurred. Every time he came, he would inform us that we needed to relocate, repeat himself, and check our passports. Our worst fear was that we would be held and unable to reach the train in time. We choose to go to the terminal since it is almost time to get on the train. While we were en route, he stopped us just before we boarded the escalator. His grip on my arm was firm. Out of sheer horror, I turned to my companion. "You go on," he said, gesturing toward the escalator as he glanced at my companion. In response to a command from an armed police officer, she hopped on the escalator. He held onto my arm the whole time he waited for her to back away. His next question was, "Are you on Instagram?" I was taken aback. My answer was affirmative, and I even provided him my Instagram handle. I typed it onto his phone as he asked. His parting words were, "Have a good trip." My friend and I were able to reconnect, and we boarded the train and settled into our seats. By this stage, I was inconsolable. What a terrifying day it had been. It was simply some creep attempting to strike up a conversation, but I believe they were investigating us for being at the train station too early. After following me on Instagram, he asked, "Hey, what's up?" in a message request. "Will you never forget me?" I cut him off. I explained to my friend that I simply wanted the interaction to finish so I could go on the train, and that's why I gave him my Instagram in the first place.